This is not going to be a politically correct video about your caregiver burnout and stress. Actually, it just might tick you off. But I'm also hoping it might save just a couple of you. Hi there, I'm Sophia. I make weekly videos to help you be a more satisfied, more successful, and this week, a less stressed family caregiver because I want you and your parent to have the very best outcomes. So go ahead and subscribe so you don't miss a thing. I see women out there who have swollen faces, crying, they're not getting any sleep because they are overwhelmed with caring for their aging parents. Family caregivers these days are getting so stressed. They're having heart attacks, they're having strokes, and I even heard a story last year about a caregiver who lives here near me who was so stressed out by taking care of her elderly mother for years and years and years that she was so hopeless she could find no way out, and she burnt the house down and killed both herself and her mother. For many of you, this is not a beautiful caregiving journey. It is more like a slow caregiver walk down the plank. What are you doing to yourself? We all have bad caregiver days, me too, when you're just feeling absolutely overwhelmed. But overwhelm is when there's just too many things that need to be done and coming at you at once, and there's not enough time. But this extreme level of caregiver stress and burnout, it doesn't happen overnight. It comes from compromising yourself and not protecting yourself day after day and week after week, month after month, and for many of you, year after year after year. Are you at the point of sacrificing yourself, your own identity, your dreams, and your own health and well-being? If you are, then please watch this video all the way to the end. You might say, this is what I'm supposed to do. This is what all family caregivers do. This is what good daughters do. This is what good Christians do. This is my responsibility. And I'm here to say, no, that is not what all good caregivers do. But those are the only ones you hear about in the news. And they're the only ones that you might see in support groups and online support groups who are complaining about how hard it is to be a caregiver. But there are thousands and thousands of family caregivers out there who are not stressed out and burnt out, but you don't hear about them in the news, and they're not out there complaining about their situation. You need to start really being clear about what your needs are, what your wants are. Not the needs and wants of your parent, but of you. It is so easy to list all the things you don't want as a caregiver. You could list them for days. But if I asked you, what do you want? Most people would say, I have no idea. You probably never stop and think about what are your needs. But this is really important, so I'm going to ask you to dream a little bit. Just think about knowing that your parent is not going to change, their diagnosis is not going to change, their level of need is not going to change, although it might change to be a greater level of need. But knowing that those things aren't going to change, what could you imagine as the very best scenario for you? And I don't want you to feel guilty about dreaming a little bit. What would it look like if things didn't change for your parent, but it was good for you? How would that look? And how does that feel? And you might say to me, Sophia, I have to take care of my parent. I'm the only one who can do it. Well, you know what I have to say to that? No, you're not. And that's not what I really wanted to say. You know that. As a really smart lady, Marie Forleo likes to say, you are just not a special snowflake. Do you think that you really are the only one who can change that diaper? Are you the only one who could get food on the table? Are you really the only one who could pick up poop off the floor again and put in the 10th load of laundry for the week? No, you're not. I don't think so. But there are things that only you can do, only a family member can do. Like for me, it's taking care of my dad's all his medical things. If he's in the hospital, I'm there. I take him to all his doctor's appointments, manage all his medications. Those are things that I would never delegate to anyone else. That is what I can do and only I can do. For my sister, she's the one who can bring him together with his family and bring up the memories and get attached at the heart and have fun, as only a daughter can do. Those things can't be delegated to anyone else. So what are the things that only you can do, that only you can give? And I give you permission, and give yourself permission to say no to all the rest, to give it to someone else to do. Because sometimes really loving your parent and taking care of them is letting someone else do those things that you could delegate, so that it frees up your spirit and your soul to do the things that only you can do. So I recommend, if you are new to caregiving, say no early and say no often. And you will forgive me down the road. For 98% of you, there are options. Your parent could sell their house, they could sell a life insurance policy, they could get a reverse mortgage. I know that these things might not be ideal, but guess what? It's better than burning the frickin' house down. I know. You're gonna tell me, Sophia, I can't afford it. There's no money to hire help. What am I supposed to do? This video here is gonna show you tons of ways to get money to pay for care, so make sure you watch it after this one. Some of you might be saying, well, if only my parent qualified for Medicaid or Medi-Cal or whatever you call it in your state, well, then I would get help. But unfortunately, my parent makes too much money. Well, you have to know it's not a cut and dry, black and white cutoff criteria for Medicaid in most states. There is something called a Medi-Cal share of cost. That's what they call it here where I live. What that means is people who don't financially qualify for Medi-Cal, let's say they make a little bit extra, they just put that amount that they have to pay out of pocket each month. And then after they pay that, then Medi-Cal or Medicaid pays the rest. Then Medicaid would pay for in-home supportive services or whatever the county in-home care program is where you live. You could then afford a nursing home. If you do have full Medicaid, then there are Medicaid waivers for assisted livings out there. Medicaid would pay for adult day health care. There are a lot of options for you out there. And there are a lot of assisted livings out there that are pretty affordable, more affordable than you hear. $3,000, $4,000, $5,000, $6,000 a month. There are some that are not nearly that much. Yes, they're not perfect, they're not pretty, but they're out there and there are options. What I'm getting at is there are choices out there, there are options. Are you just choosing not to use them? I really love you. Please don't burn the house down. If you identified with anything that I said in this video today, please leave me a comment. And I hope that you take a look at these videos here because they're really going to help you with your slow walk down the plank. Thanks so much for watching today. Don't forget to subscribe. I'll see you next time.